Hey YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back. I'm super excited to be back here again, and I'm super excited about this week's topic. It's something I have struggled with, not really struggled with, but something I've gone through my whole life, and it's something that I feel like I'm starting to get a control of, and it's something that for the first time I feel comfortable with, and it's self-identity. In middle school, I used to hang out with so many different crowds that I never could fit into one crowd because I was just hanging out with everybody. And that's kind of identity in itself, being able to adapt to different groups and different cultures and different conversations. Really, it's kind of being like diverse, you know. And at first I just thought that I was never going to fit in anywhere. I always thought I was the weird kid. I always thought that the stuff that I said was just like super awkward, super weird, and it's just who I am, you know. It makes my personality, it makes my jokes. Like, I make dad jokes all the time, and that's just who I am, you know. I'm not really funny, but I'm kind of funny, you know. And you really just have to become comfortable with that and be comfortable with the things that you do and who you are. And in middle school, it was very difficult to do because people would always be like, oh, like, how are you friends with them and them? You know, in middle school, you're going through middle school drama. And at the time, I was really just didn't know how to respond to it. I was just like, I don't know, I just do it, you know? And I just found like the more I go on now into being who I am, the more happy I am with myself, knowing that not everybody is like this and not everybody can do this, and I can't also fit in one group, which is, you know, kind of a downfall, kind of a positive thing, I guess you say. And it's just, today I'm going to talk about just being comfortable with yourself now, you know, self-identity, just me being able to identify as Moises. And even my name, like, the reason I named my channel Moises and not Moses is because my whole life I grew up with people calling me Moses or Moises or Moises or Mitosis, and people were just ridiculing my name. Like, come on, like, it's Moises, Moises, and people just ignore the I. It's not a silent I, people. There is an I in there. And just in that alone, I actually allowed people to shape my name. You know, people used to be like, oh, Moses, and I'd be like, that works for me. Anything that starts with an M, I used to say to people, like Moises, Moses, whatever you want to call me. I used to be okay with it, and now I correct people because my mom gave me this name, my parents gave me this name. They said Moises, like Moises, it means miracle child, you know, and it's a unique name, and I'm happy to have my name, you know. I'm comfortable with it now, and I just think at first I just didn't know how to handle that with people calling me Moses, and it's not my name. But I guess I just got so tired of correcting people that I just kind of let it slide. But today, I'm telling you, don't let it slide. Correct people when they say your name wrong. Correct people when they try to assume something about you that's not true. And just kind of tell them who you are, you know. Give them a chance. Like I try to do everything with grace now. Not being upset when people make an assumption, or whenever people try to say something that's not true, you know. I try to say, okay, you know, I could kind of see where they got it from, or I just ask them, where did you get that from, you know? And then just kind of correct them. And in that, you know, you build a better relationship, you build better communication, and you actually get to tell that person who you actually are. And you get to be comfortable with doing that. After you do it enough times, you know, it just becomes second nature. And when you're correcting, people see that you're comfortable with who you are. And the generation coming up right now, for example, my little cousins, they can't choose who they are yet because they just don't know, and the world doesn't give them that option. School is made to build you up to get ready for the real world, but so many kids are, including myself when I just graduated a few years back, they don't give you a career to go to. It's just kind of that you have to make a decision on your own, and they kind of leave it up to you, and they're saying, oh, whatever you dream of, you can do. But in reality, you should do something that represents who you are, represents something that you actually want to chase, and something that you can wake up and do every day. And I think my calling was 4 years ago now, 5 years ago actually, and it was when I was 18. I know God was calling me to ministry, He was calling me to be a pastor, but at the time, all I could think about was money. And I thought that was my identity because I worked at Foot Locker. I needed the newest shoes. I needed to be the cutest guy at places. I needed to go on dates. I needed to do all this stuff, and money was the root of all that. So I decided to work more. I decided to work towards business. I went to school for business, and it just was never made for me. I just thought because I was a people person that I was a business person, and I guess that's kind of true, but it's not at the same time. When you have a calling, answer it. I'm telling you, it's the best thing that you could do. It's something that when you're passionate about, it's something that you'll continue to chase even when things are hard. And that's just knowing that now. I just self-identity played a big part in that. It's just back then, like I said, I was molded by society at the time. I thought shoes were everything. I thought the newest pair of Jordans were the newest thing. I thought the more sneakers I had, the cooler I was. The more sneakers I had, the more girls would like me. And there's even times where when I went through like a series of like 5 or 6 cars where I thought cars were making me who I am. And it was not until about January, no, probably like September of last year when I got rid of my Challenger. It was like, oh man, like I don't have a Challenger anymore. People aren't going to like me anymore. And after I got saved, the biggest thing that I had to take away from everything was there's nothing on this earth that I can attach to myself and that it would change who I actually am. And a couple years ago, if you would have gave me a nice car, it would be over. I would act like one of those people at the lights, revving their engine, acting all reckless. And it's just because that's how it is. That's what I was told that's what society made me believe was the coolest thing to be, or the coolest thing to have was cars and shoes and all this stuff. And now I just think about it and I'm so comfortable with my personality. I would never want to give my personality up for a item. I never want to think that an item makes me better than somebody, because at the end of the day, we're all the same. We're all on the same level. It doesn't care if you have $1 million more than me. At this end of the day, you have a heart, I have a heart. And that's really the core of what we need to be looking at, to find out who you are, and then to start looking at other people in the same respect. And for me, it's just been it was the hardest thing, I think, for my heart to kind of turn over to that, because I grew up with so many materialistic things, and so many times I would turn to items or merchandise or whatever it was to make me feel better. And it made me feel like I was better now. I was more confident. Like, okay, I'm wearing this Nike all head to toe. Like, I'm confident now. I'm comfortable. But I wasn't comfortable with myself. When you went home, you don't have that confidence anymore, because now you're in your PJs or your boxers or whatever you wear to bed, and you're just like, oh well, I guess I had that t-shirt in my closet, so I'm still cool. Like, you try to start justifying it, and you start to think like, oh yeah, the reason I'm so confident, the reason I go out my way to talk to people is because I'm dressed nice. And that's not the case. It's just who you are. You need to, and if you don't know who you are, don't stress it to the point where you're like, I need to stop what I'm doing right now. I think it's important to find out who you are, to take this time to evaluate, especially right now. Quarantine is still kind of in progress. Things are opening up, but it's still a good time to reflect and find out who you are, the things you want to do, and the people you want to reach, and the goals that you want to reach. And I think the most important part of when you're looking at self-identity, and this is my opinion, but I truly believe in it and I will continue to share it, is that God will show you who you were on this earth to be, because he created you and he already had something planned for you. He knew you before you were in your mom's womb. And just knowing that gave me so much comfortability, knowing that I'm loved already before I was even born. I'm loved even before I did anything, and that I will continue to be loved no matter what I do. And I feel like that's the definition of grace, and that shaped me it allowed me to be who I am without stressing the material things and without stressing worrying about what people think of me. And it just allowed me to be myself. And now I'm actually I feel like the best I ever been in my life has been in this past year, with all the growing that has happened. And that's what led up to making me make a YouTube, was I did all this growing in a year, and I never had time to really evaluate and during the process, but now I just get to think about it, and I get to see what I did throughout the time. And for me, finding my self-identity, I think the biggest part was just me answering God's call for me and going into ministry, because now I have a focus on it now. I can save now because I know what I want to do. I can start planning. I don't try to plan too much, but I try to plan on what I'm going to, and just continue to ask in prayer, what's my next step, or where am I going after this? And I'm so comfortable now that I'm thankful, and I feel like it's so important to tell people to be confident in who you are and go with the stuff that you have right now, go with the strength that you have right now, and just become that person that you are already, if that makes any sense. There's a person like in you that you're naturally like, you need to be that person, and so many people are trying to listen to the newest rap song, try to learn the lyrics, so then when they play it in their car, they could rap to it. But in reality, that doesn't make you who you are. That's somebody else's music. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you like the music, you like the music, but it's different when you're trying to do it for likes and you're trying to do it for attention. So I encourage you today to take some time, find some things that you love about yourself that you don't want to change, and start finding people that support that person and support that side of you, because that's the most important thing I felt like in this past couple months, is finding the people that actually understand where I'm coming from, understand who I am, and not judging me for who I am. There's times where some of my friends just think that now that I'm saved, that I'm a whole different person, which I am. You know, I won't lie about that. But they themselves have changed more. They changed their perspective more than I have about myself. Like, they treat me like I'm like a church baby, and that, you know, if I hear a curse word, that I'm gonna curse, or that I'm gonna be like start praying for them or something, you know. And I truly believe that salvation is personal. You know, I feel like everybody has their own journey, so I'm not here to judge. I literally did the worst of the worst, I felt like. So there's no judging that I can do on somebody else, because at the end of the day, I've done bad, I've done worse, and you can't even really compare things that you've done worse than others, you know. And I just want to encourage people to not judge when people are going through a change, but to support them in their time and really just show them or help them find out who they are. If you're a really good friend, you would just love that person no matter what. And that's why I just love Jesus, because he always loves me no matter what. And I just know that he's going to forgive me, that grace has covered me. And there's nothing that I can do to really change that, to sway it, whether I'm doing great in life on Jesus's terms, or if I'm doing horrible, you know, because he just loves me all the time with all his love. So that's the biggest thing. Go find yourself, find out who you are, and start to find those people that actually add to your life and they don't take away. Because the people that are taking away from your life are just literally taking away from your life. They're taking your time. They're taking your energy that you could be putting into something else. And I know that a lot of people usually don't need that time to be put somewhere else. Like, you know, sometimes people are like, you know, I just need my time to be taken up. But I feel like if you have purpose, if you have a goal, that it'll be easier to find things to fill your time with. And once you find those people, like I have one really good friend right now, Caleb, who once me and him met, and once he started supporting who I was, it was game over. Me and him just started hanging out so much naturally. There's times where like I wasn't even planning on hanging out, but we'll just hang out because it's just, we get to be ourselves, and we're both comfortable with each other just being ourselves, and it's just a good time, and it's something that I love to do. And when I hang out with other people, sometimes it doesn't feel that way. So I put my time more towards Caleb. Because why? Because I get to be myself, I get to be confident, I get to just be comfortable with who I am, and actually find out more of who I am, and continue to find out some of my weaknesses, and he gets to shine a light on that, and this allows me to continue to grow. I won't say be better, because I really don't believe that. I believe, yeah, I guess you could become a better person, but I just think it's all about growth and progression and taking your time. Because if you try to become a whole new person overnight, then you're bound to run out of energy trying to keep up a facade, or just trying to really be somebody that you're not. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you so much for watching. Again, like I said, I love doing these videos. You guys are awesome. All the people that keep coming back, I thank you. And I just ask, if you guys ever need anything, you guys know I have a Google Voice, and in that Google Voice, I will pray for you. I will always give advice the best I can. And most of my advice comes from things that I personally have done wrong. And as unfortunate as it is, it's fortunate that I can help people before they make that mistake themselves. So like I said, I'm here to help. I'm actually super excited just to continue to be able to speak life into people, and just continue to pray for people, and something that I enjoy doing, and that's what I'm here for. So if you need me, Google Voice is on the bottom, and thank you guys so much for coming back. See you guys next week.